Hello, my name is Olo, and today we're talking about the 3 types of Animal Crossing players in New Horizons. We've got the pure beings.
My creation will be ready tomorrow!
The time travelers.
The laws of time are mine, and they will obey me!
And the exploiters.
Unlimited power.
And what a lot of players are up in arms about all of this is, of course, whether or not you're cheating and whether you're ruining the game by using time travel and other exploits. My plan for this video is to educate you on this controversy, why people are upset about it, and give you the tools to make your own choices, even if you're going to be a dirty exploiter. Let's start with the classic, the people's champ, the age-old debate in many Animal Crossing games, time travel. Animal Crossing is a really time-gated game. You make slow progress, plant some flowers, collect some iron, unlock a house upgrade, and then you've got to wait until tomorrow, IRL, for it to progress in-game. Since time matches real-world time, if you finish up work and get home late and you're playing at night, well, I guess you're just playing at night forever because you can't play in the day. That's too bad. You're a night player now. Maybe you don't have time to wait for your flowers to bloom. Maybe you don't want to wait until tomorrow to hit more rocks to gather those 30 iron nuggets. Maybe you don't give a damn about any of that and you just want to play with 0 time restraints in your Animal Crossing game. That's why people time travel. It's actually really easy to pull off in New Horizons, so here's a quick run through. You just head to your settings and go to the system. Head to date and time and make sure synchronized clock via internet is set to off. From here, you change the date and time however you'd like, whether you're jumping hours, days, weeks, months, even years, should you desire. And then once you've made your choice, you load the game back up and boom, time travel. At face value, time travel is a really useful tool, especially for players who can only play at certain times of the day or otherwise miss events without it. Simple use of this mechanic, like skipping early tutorial time gates like the building of your first house or museum or even shop, playing in the day when in the real world it's night, or skipping that annoying 2 letters a day cooldown. There are tons of small and unoffensive ways to use time travel to enhance your experience without going too overboard with it. But what if you do go deeper? And this is where it becomes much more of an exploit and controversial. Take the Nook ATM, the banking system of this game. This simple system gives you interest on whatever money you store in it. So if you store your money in here, you regularly be rewarded with small amounts of bells in return for storing your money there every month. But what if we say you put 100,000 or even more bells in that ATM and then time jumped a few months or even years? You can net yourself up to just below 100,000 bells each time you do this, because that's where it caps out, with this method easily, and you can just keep doing it. Or maybe you abuse the turnip stocks. Every Sunday, a little NPC called Daisy May shows up and sells turnips, and you can sell these to the young Nook boys Timmy and Tommy, who buy these turnips for different rates each day. If you or a friend have a great day for turnip rates, then the other player can just time skip to Sunday to buy a nice inventory full of turnips and then come to the island where Timmy and Tommy are buying turnips for that great rate and make bank really easy. Now, what's interesting about these time travel tricks is that there's actually some punishment. If you were to time travel, let's say, a few weeks or months, your island would enter a neglected state since you've not actually been at it in months. Your villagers will look around at the weeds that are growing off of everything and ditch this lame and neglected abandoned island really quickly. Also, you'll be missing in-game events that occur at set times for each special holiday throughout the year. But who cares, right? If you can clean up those weeds in a few minutes and with your infinite money from the time skipping, make the island a utopia in which every villager is desperate to live, and you can time travel backwards without any consequences too. The game just treats it like it was always the day you just time traveled back to, allowing you to go backwards and forwards but reap all the benefits. Time travel is a undeniably interesting mechanic, useful to any player but infuriating to those not making use of it and being behind of all the players who have access to special events well ahead of time and tons of money to throw at everything. And I guess worst of all, not really earning anything they have when compared to those doing that daily struggle as the game was originally designed, which obviously led to that age-old argument, are you ruining the game by time traveling? My answer's a little middle of the fence, I'm afraid, but I think it's just the only right answer. Because this is a game you can happily play entirely single player, whatever Dave is doing in his world where he's warping backwards and forwards, making millions, creating skyscrapers for his island in the year 2046, that doesn't really impact you and your prospects in your own game. If you're choosing to time travel, you just need to know why. For me, time traveling is great because I would otherwise have to play at night every time I stream it, so I'd rather play at day. For me, I don't want to wait until tomorrow for my house to upgrade, so I skip forward just a few hours to that 5 AM reset. Now, what would be game ruining for me is if I would regularly skip weeks ahead to special events, let's say Easter. Personally, I'd be enjoying the game for a lot less time if I was abusing the time travel to a more extreme degree. A small amount of use here and there helps me enjoy the game more instead of being annoyed at certain waiting mechanics or, stuck in certain time zones where I miss all the day bugs or fish, for example. However, for you, even that small amount of time travel might ruin the game for you, leaving you bored and make you feel like the game is pointless. Or to play devil's advocate, that minimal amount of time travel just isn't enough. You don't give a damn about time zones, earning your bells, earning those upgrades. You just want to get straight to terraforming an island with your mansion, playing as if it's sort of a Sims game with cheats on. And there are so many players out there who feel this way and are enjoying the game so much more because they're using time travel to such an extreme level. To say they're doing it wrong when they're having a great time is just silly. Ultimately, it's their game, their save, their island, their experience, and their money that they spent on the game. Whatever you think about time travel, you should know that Nintendo are expressly aware of this mechanic. They've actually kept it in their game series for years. This is not the first time it's been around. They designed the game with it in mind. What they're not okay with are the genuine exploits that we find in New Horizons each week, such as item duping. Item duplication is the simple act of cloning an item, creating a new copy of it without affecting the original. Maybe you've got one coconut, then you use this item dupe to create a second coconut. Now you've got 2 coconuts. Nuts. Then we do it again, again, and again, forever, coconuts forever. Or hey, maybe you do something much more profitable like the Nintendo Switch item that's worth 40,000 bells. Let's just dupe that over 20 times and make a quick 1 million bells in seconds. To do it, all you needed was one friend and any item. Place that item on top of any surface furniture like a table, and then as you start rotating the item, the second player picks it up. For some reason, the original would remain while a new version, a duplicated version, appeared in the second player's inventory. And it really was that easy. There was no limit at all. You could do it as much as you wanted. The devs are very clearly not okay with things like this. They've actually swiftly patched this out of the game, which is great news for regular players and a sad day for the folks treating this game like a limitless Sims game. To someone like that, any and all ways to generate money as fast as possible is great. They're like playing creative mode in Minecraft. Interestingly, devs have added a nod to this glitch by adding a dialogue as shown here that comments on a pair of dupers acting a little all shady and scummy. Another exploit perfect for bell farming though is the sturgeon spawner, allowing you to spawn the rare fish, the sturgeon, over and over, which are valued at 10,000 bells each. This is basically a different infinite money method. This one requires a lot more progress in game though, because you need to have unlocked terraforming, which comes much later in the progression of the game. And at this time, no one can actually legitimately reach terraforming without using time travel, which of course hasn't stopped anyone doing that. I found this exploit via the YouTuber LinkKing7, who posted a short video explaining how this one works. Sturgeons only spawn in March at river mouths, the spots that connect a river to the sea with some rocks around it. To force one to spawn, you just need to remove all other fish spawns on your island, such as rivers and ponds. Using terraforming, you just remove those ponds and rivers until left with only river mouths, and then literally walk back and forth between them until you see a fish spawn, which will always, for some reason, be a sturgeon when you do this in March. The idea is that you're basically removing the possible spawns of other fish types by removing anywhere they can spawn inland. It's pretty nuts, and it basically prints money. You might be saying, well, March is over, but think about it. You can always time travel back to March to do this whenever you want, or use this method to farm other rare fish based on whatever month it is, be it pond or river mouth or whatever. We're obviously going to find more exploits in the future, given how things are going so far. Now let's talk about middle ground. It's not quite time travel, and it's not quite an exploit. Players are just using in-game mechanics to their advantage. We're talking, of course, about the Spider Island. A super simple concept. You travel to a nearby island using a flight ticket for just 2,000 Nook miles. Then you manipulate the island to have a greater chance at spawning tarantulas, which just so happen to sell for 8,000 bells a pop. By flattening the island and removing as many bug spawns as possible, leaving only flat grass bug spawns, you can easily farm tarantulas for money. Spiders only spawn between 7 PM and 4 AM, so heading to a mystery island at night with limited tools such as a shovel, a net, axe, and then also a ladder plus a pole in case you need them to traverse the land, and maybe even a spare net if you're not sure as well. You can flatten an island by just chopping all the trees, using fruit from the trees to destroy all the rocks, using that same shovel to dig up all the tree stumps, and then also picking every flower too. You'll be left with only water, beach, and grass spawns, and you can just dump all that random loot while you were leveling the place on the beach, and you're good to start. So scare away any other bug by running past it. Just simply run around the island until you see a tarantula and capture it. Do note, not every mystery island inhabits bugs, so you need to make sure there's things that spawn bugs like flowers, rocks, or trees, and ideally you want a flat grassland for easy farming, unlike what I got here where most of the island is this pesky water spiral. Since only 4 bugs can spawn at one time, you just scare away the other spawns until a spider spawns. Many guides do tell you to create a defense of holes, letting you jump into a safe spot, then carefully capturing the spiders, but personally, I just found that a waste of time. You can just walk right up to the spiders with a net active and then pause whenever they rear up. Then when they go still, you just move forward and then eventually just grab it. Once you're full up on these pesky fellows, you can sell them to Timmy or Tommy for 8,000 each, and as you can see, I made bank. The very large difference with this potential exploit is that it took a lot of planning, risk, and effort on my part. I had to buy a ticket, so I had to hope for a good island. I had to clear that island out and then farm the spawns myself. It took over an hour, and with a better island, I think I could have done this with, you know, just 30 minutes, maybe a bit longer. And, well, the thing is, this is effort compared to spawning switches and selling them. But my question is this intended? Is this just another exploit the devs want to remove? Whatever the case, there's a huge difference between the two, duping and the spider island, but ultimately, it's up to you if you want to try it. Oh, but there you go. There's just some of the exploits I'm aware of so far in Animal Crossing. If I missed any, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know about it. Whether you're a pure player, a time traveler, or a full-on exploiter, I think it's good to know what's out there and make the choice to avoid it or use it yourself. What do you think though? Are these tricks ruining the game, or are you just okay with players playing the game however they want? It just doesn't matter to you. As I've said, I think they're only truly bad when you're ultimately ruining your own experience. If you do something that you're going to regret later and run out of reasons to play the game, I think that's when you shouldn't use them. Otherwise, man, just go nuts. For now, I've been Hollow, you've been you, and I'll see you in the next video.